In today's video, I beat the entire game of Grounded only using two-handed weapons. Enough said, onto the video. I then debated if I wanted to go woe mode or medium mode, but then eventually I just chose medium mode. And I'm not a huge fan of this team select, but of course we had to choose hoops. And as we started, I instantly knew something was up because it was very dark in the kids case, and for some reason it now starts at 7 AM, which is a really cool change. Meaning my day was now longer, so I went around and grabbed a bunch of different resources and food and analyzed sprig, pebblets, and plant fiber. Then I went ahead and made a pebblet axe and farmed up some clovers. And whilst I was doing that, an orb weaver decided to crash the party, but I just didn't care about him. I just blocked and ran away. I went to another field station and analyzed grass planks as well as the clovers that I'd farmed up, and made the entire clover set, as the entire clover set has now changed, meaning I take less damage from early game creatures and I have a bandage on me at all times. It was at this point I realized Orb Weaver Jr. is a tier 1. I don't know if this has changed or not, but this is something cool. I went over to this thistle plant and got some thistle needles. As you guessed it, we're crafting up the spiky sprig, a weapon I can now use because of course it's two-handed. And now that attacks faster feels so smooth. Feeling strong, I took on a wolf spider, and let me tell you, this fight took a little bit longer than I anticipated, getting tier 1 of Parry Master, but eventually he went down. After killing him, I then backtracked to the spacer and took out all the lawn mites chewing on the cables. I took a deep dive into the red ant hill and took out some red soldier ants, as I'll need their parts for a tier 2 club and a new trinket later on, but I was mainly here for the bogle chip, which I collected. Don't mind that I'm 1 HP here, I decided to take out a ladybug because I definitely didn't get hit. The sun was beginning to set, so I activated the spacer, and also I took out another ladybug, and this time not getting hit once. I then set up my base on the stump and made the astonishing acid trinket, which makes it that my 3-hit combos on the 3rd hit deal more damage, which is really good for clubs. In the oak lab, I went ahead and helped up Bogle and then scanned my hand on the biometric scanner, and then gave Bogle the anthill chip that I recently collected, getting the fiber bandage efficiency and the canteen upgrade. In Ground 1.3, Dandelion Tufts no longer have a trinket slot, so they are a one-time use. And once again, I'm not a huge fan of this change, but I'll get used to it. Over near the hedge, I went inside this cave and got the 4-leaf clover, which increases my crit chance, and felt really confident and decided to take on 2 bombardiers at once. And surprisingly, when I killed the second bombardier, I got its gold card. Did they increase the gold card drops in 1.3? I'm not too sure. It was now time to do the hedge lab, and before I went into the hedge lab, I activated the resource scanner. And deeper in the hedge lab, I activated my hand on the biometric scanner and grabbed all the parchment pieces as well as this free milk mauler that is now here. And inside the storage room, I grabbed all the silk rope and upgrade materials. And during the hedge lab, I got tier 3 of Parry Master, maxing it out, and as my reward for the parchment pieces, I got the first super disc and super chip, and climbed the hedge lab even more and got the Brumella research notes. I then decided to take out some more bombardier beetles as I need a lot of boiling glands for ovens later on. I made my way back to Bogle and gave him the hedge super chip, which I just collected. And inside of his shop, I bought the meat shield mutation as well as the zip lines, and I used my free milk mauler from the hedge lab, upgrading my maximum health. I now had enough parts just to make the red ant club, so that's exactly what I did. I made the red ant club and upgraded the gear, and also I made spider hood and spider shoulder guards and upgraded them slightly. Now that I was somewhat prepared, I went ahead and jumped over this cracked rock using some grass planks and made my way into the upper yard, getting tier 1 of cardio fan, and had some pretty good crowd control as I was taking on 3 ladybird lavas at once, and I'm very underpowered for this area. And for some reason I got the insulating lava spike trinket, which was really cool, I guess. I now went ahead and took out a black ox beetle as I needed its parts later on for the black ox hammer, and I got pretty decent drops. And I did the exact same thing with the termite soldiers, but this time it wasn't for the black ox hammer, it was for the termite axe. Over at the shed porch, I went ahead and took out some black soldier ants as I'll need their parts for the tier 2 shoveler, but then again I got jumped by a bunch of them. But if you know me, I'm a great crowd control master. After killing a bunch of black ants and got enough parts, I made the black ant shovel, and then over in the gold tooth, I went ahead and killed another black ox, getting some more parts again. And then I took out this ladybird lava that helped me kill the black ox beetle, and in return he gave me the gold card on my 5th kill. With luck on my side, I went ahead and killed some dust mites for their fuzz, which I need for the next armor set I'm going for. After searching for buried treasure for far too long, I finally got enough crow feather pieces and made the termite axe. I then used that termite axe to farm up a bunch of pupa hide. I also accidentally started this bug war near this exposed pipe, but I came out victorious and with a bunch of fire ant parts in my pockets. I also had enough parts to make the black ox hammer, so I crafted it and then used it to farm up 5 milk molars from this milk molar cap here. Over at the fire ant nest, I took out some fire soldier ants. As you guessed it, I was now making the fire ant set. I then decided I wasn't done with them, and then I decided to take all their quartzite and marble from their home. Over at the porch doormat, I got some lint for the fire ant leggings. And while I was getting some charcoal chunks for the ovens for the boss recipes, I've folded. unfortunately. But on my way back to the bag, I got tier 2 out of 3 for cardio fan, so it might have been worth it. Back over at the oak tree, I farmed up some grubs. As you guessed, it was now time to make a bunch of smoothies. Back at base, I made the entire fire ant armor set and upgraded it just slightly, and then realized I had enough parts to make the fire ant club, which is exactly what I did, and upgrade that to the maximum level, which is only level 5 for right now. And then over in the haze, I inhaled a bunch of toxic fumes, which helped me a lot, but then I plugged the haze using the gum nuggets I found from the buried treasure. With the haze now gone, I went into the haze lab, but I got some infected weevils weevils to blast open the doors for me. Thank you, weevils. But the blasting wasn't done yet because I had a blast party in the blast room. And then I absolutely blasted the infected ladybug because I'm stupidly overpowered. Okay, I'll stop with the blasting jokes. Killing the infected ladybug gave us super disc number 3, the haze super chip, and a bunch of goodies. Right after I did the haze lab, I went ahead and started the black ant lab using the bombs that I got from the haze lab room and blasted open, granting me access to the lab. I went ahead and got access to sector A and sector B of the lab, and the final sector had the assistant manager. And for you guys, this may seem very hectic, this boss fight, but I'm very overpowered at this stage and I just tanked every single attack and he went down. I then robbed the assistant manager card off him, which gave me more access to the yard. And as my reward, I also got the black ant super chip. I then did a 180 to the sandbox, and inside the sandbox lab, I used the assistant manager keycard to get in and got the burgle chip. Back at Burgle, I gave him all the burgle chips and super chips that I'd collected, and in his shop, I bought a bunch of upgrades for tier 2 and tier 3 production. And got a bit cheeky and used my termite axe to farm some eelgrass strands not in the water. And used the eelgrass strands to make the gill tube, which meant one thing, it was time for the pond lab. I dread this lab, but I pushed through, activating the switch and activating the 3 breakers in the water. And in the dome room, I said hello to the Arcars and Tazies and took them out, and collected my last super chip and duper disc, and I got a pond dome cutscene, which I had no idea was in the game till like right now when I saw it, so this is my genuine reaction to it. After exiting the main pond lab, I went to the secondary lab and activated this button, which activates the stump lab. I then went back to Burgle and gave him back the last super chip, and then I inserted all the duper discs into the super duper, and used the muscle sprouts from the pond lab to make a bunch of fuzz on the rock smoothies, and then spent a little bit more resources just upgrading my gear slightly. I also collected enough resources to make 2 ovens, so that's exactly what I did, and then I filled those ovens with mighty globs. In the morning, the mighty globs were finished, and I upgraded my fire and club to level 7. And then I used the dandelion tuft to go over onto Wendell's favorite chair and went to the full-size scabby, busted open the back and put in the replacement fuse. And then I began my adventure down into the undershed, but made a very quick pit stop getting these scarabs in this exposed pipe here, which I will need for tier 3 upgrades. And this time there was a black widow blocking my path, but not this time, I just ran straight past her. And now it's time to go into the undershed lab, and there was a boss fight waiting for me, the Mant. And for some reason, the second I started the fight, he got stunned, so he must have been stunned that I showed up or something, I have no idea. And that wasn't even the most weirdest thing, he also decided to start clipping through the floor. But after that, everything was just pretty normal. He stopped doing some magician stuff and he went down. Deeper in the lab, I freed Wendell totally from his containment, and then got the grilled signs and stole a bit of his food from his fridge. And my next goal was to kill a green shield bug, as I'll need its parts for a very strong weapon later on. So I killed the green shield bug and got 2 parts, which means I am going to need to duplicate these. Over near the stump, I decided to get Thor's pendant because that's a good upgrade for my astonishing acid. And inside the stump lab, I went ahead and got the mantis research notes. And during while I was in the upyard, I went ahead and destroyed a bunch of wasp hives, which made the wasp hive disturbed. Over at the Moldork castle, I dropped on the back of the tiger mosquito and he gave me a quick boost up to the Moldork tongue. At this point, I had 8 milk molds that I haven't spent yet, but that doesn't matter. I also collected the moldy note, which is the infected broom on the boss recipe. And deeper in the lab was Director Schmechter, the man himself. And on my first attempt, I folded really hard because of this new combat change with the smoothies taking 4 seconds and I died. But on my second attempt, it was a bit more hectic this time, but I was prepared and I took out Director Schmechter. Killing him gives us the mutation of Corporate Kickback, which is really good for the infected Broomella, as well as the Omnet Data Disc. And on that disc is the best weapon at this point in the game, the Sour Battle Axe. Back at home, I got some Mighty Jewels cooking in the ovens and then took a nap and got the Wasp cutscene. I then went ahead and spent the 8 milk molars that I didn't recently spend down through max health and max stamina. And fun fact, this is all the milk molars I'm going to be infusing myself with. I also made the Sour Battle Axe and upgraded down to level 9 Mighty, maxing it out. And then I cooked up 2 Broomella BLTs, which means one thing, the Hedge Broomella boss fight. Now I was really overpowered in this fight because the Sour Battle Axe is just super strong, so I killed her once, but I wanted more parts because I wanted the Mask of the Mother Demon, which will enhance my build even more. So that's exactly what I did. I took her out and got even more parts. And I got the gold card on my second kill. My luck is pretty good today. After killing the Hedge Broomella, I decided I will show the infected wolf spider my new axe, and he seemed to like it. He literally fell over backwards for it. Back at base, I made the Mask of the Mother Demon to enhance my build even more and made the Orcus Mantis Kebab. I then took a quick hike up to the Wasp Queen nest and got the Wasp Queen boss recipe. And it was at this point I got tier 3 of Cardio Fam, which really never happens in my challenge runs. Over at the Mantis boss arena, I buffed myself up with smoothies and it was time to take on the Orchid Mantis. Now this fight usually is kind of hard if you don't have a shield, but I don't need a shield. I have the Sour Battle Axe. This weapon is stupidly strong. When I was about to kill him, he tried to jump away, which is stupidly cute. Like, he tried it. After killing the Mantis, I went back home and married the BBQ Bedley. After finished cooking, I then summoned in the Wasp Queen. Now I don't have a shield for this fight, so I will get poisoned, but that doesn't matter at all. This fight was so quickly, she summoned 1 Wasp Drone, which got 1 heal off, and that was it. it. Other than that, I destroyed her with damage over time and my sour battle axe. Back at home, I made the moldy hoagie, which only means one thing, the infected broodmother boss fight. Here in phase 1, I got hit only once because of the buggy blocking system in 1.3, and phase 2 was even easier because this phase she goes defensive and I'm an offensive character, so she didn't stand a chance. And during the switch between phase 2 and 3, I buffed myself up with human food and sticky liquid rage. Now usually you'd think you would need a shield to fight the infected broodmother, right? No, not with this build. This build is so strong that you don't even need a shield at all to do anything. Now I was doing so much damage to her, she literally got stunned in her third phase, and she has a high stun gauge, by the way. This just shows how fast I'm attacking and how much damage I'm chucking into her. And of course, she didn't stand a chance at all. As tradition, I murdered a bunch of red ants, soldier ants, and lawn mines to get the tier 1 for guard dog. In this cave, I got distracted by some raw science and fell into a black widow den, and the black widow thought that I was stuck in with her, but no, she was stuck in there with me because I destroyed her. But I mean, I think she got payback because she only gave me a single part, which I mean, thanks. Over at the Java-matic, I used a bomb to break open the cracked glass, which gave me access into the mixer. I then placed the empty embiggening cell, and then climbed all the way up to the Java-matic and deposited all the ingredients for the embiggening cocktail. I went ahead and took out all the orc fire ant workers and repaired every single mixer module. It was at this point I decided that I was really strong and I'd do something different for a change. I was going to challenge myself to see if I could complete the final defense without any buildings around the mixers. And yeah, I was right. My build is super strong. Like, I literally like almost 4-hit comboed this ladybug, and then I absolutely just slapped this fire ant soldier away. And then these bombardier beetles wanted a piece of me. I literally two-shot them, which is just how strong this build is. And in all honesty, I did take a bit of mixer damage, but that was going to happen regardless. But I was actually surprised that I completed the final defense with no buildings around it. I was going to do this as a joke, but I somehow completed it. And now that the embiggening cell was filled, it was now the very end of the challenge run. So I made my way all the way up to the Java-matic and picked up the filled embiggening cell. And for some reason at my base, I decided just to bomb it. I have no idea why I did this. I'm just realizing this now in post. But that doesn't matter. With that out of the way, I went back to the spacer and placed the filled embiggening cell and activated the spacer, meaning I completed yet again another challenge run. And that's the end of the challenge run. This video has been and was recorded on the Grounded 1.3 playtest, and I'm going to assume that the builds will be nerfed before 1.3 fully releases. But yeah, if you guys liked the video, like the video. If you dislike it, dislike it. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.